Welcome back to Behind the Box. Today, we're going to be talking about Day 2 of the UK Games Expo 2019. This is covering the Saturday. If you've not seen our Friday video, then we'll link to that in the description below, as well as the little card in the top right. We'll do the whole playlist. And all the games that we talk about today, and we'll do this for yesterday as well, and for tomorrow, we'll leave in the description down below the links to the Board Game Geek pages where we can find them, so that you can check them out if you're interested in more information on them. And we'll leave timestamps as well, so if there's certain games you are particularly interested in hearing about, then you can check those out. Mm-hmm. So, the first thing we did then on the Saturday, Linz?
Yeah, so on Saturday we met up at the CGE booth with Vic, who we had met the night before, and semi-co-op, so Rachel and Heinze, because we were going to learn how to play Letter Jam from Paul Grogan from Gaming Rules. And he taught us the game. It was so good. It's a word game where in the easy mode, you'd only be given like a 4-letter word. But in a harder mode, you might be given a 5-letter word. So I gave you shark.
Yep. And
so I would have given him a little card that has an S-H-A-R-K.
5 cards, one for each letter.
Yeah, and then you shuffle them up so it's all out of order, and they go face down so he can't see what letters he's been given.
I also don't know the word.
Don't know the word, right, yeah. So it's all hidden from him. And same thing happens for everybody. And then what you have to do, you'll all flip up your first letter and face it away from you, get a little stand for it. And you have to use the letters that are available to spell words, and you can't actually say the letters. You have to give these number tokens. So if you see a word out there, you would have to give the person that has the first letter of that word a 1 token and a 2 token for the next letter in the word. And the idea being you want to try and make the word longer and include more people, because these are the clues that are going to help you identify
what your own
letter is. And once you feel confident about what your letter, you keep doing it, once you feel more confident about what your letter is, you can lock it in and go on to your next card, put that one on, and then so gradually you're getting different letters to form these words with and spell them out. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, you have to try and figure out what your word was. You didn't do so great, but somehow you came out on top. Like, here, I'm bending over the camera, but this was your little sheet.
We'll take a picture and put it on.
His letters that he thought he had at the very end were K-B-B-R-A. Now remember, I gave him shark. K-B-B-R-A. And yet, he still put them out in the right order and revealed them to spell the word shark. I don't know how you did that.
So, I knew that I could get the word arc, A-R-K, and I thought most logically that would be the last 3 letters of a word. I rushed to lock in on one of the word, on one of the letters, and I thought, that one probably isn't B, but I thought maybe the other one is B. Mm. So I thought, there's no way a B is going to be the second letter in a word. So I put the thing I think could still be a B at the start, and maybe I'm thinking of like something that doesn't exist, or maybe you know a word I don't know. Mm. So I thought, it's going to probably be B, something I don't know, and then A-R-K. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it could have been, but I thought, out of all the guesses I can make, that's the safest.
Yeah.
And it turned out that what I initially thought as a B was actually an S, and then my mystery letter was a H.
Yeah.
It just worked out kind of nicely.
It did work out, didn't it?
So.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think we all did really well. I think Heinze was the only one that didn't get a word. His was nonsense. It was like gibber. So, yeah, that was a super good game. I liked Letter Jam.
That game.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. That was really good.
Mm-hmm. Vic loved it too. Like, he played it 3 times over the weekend.
Yeah. So he wasn't... so we'd booked in with Semi-Co-op to play it. But meeting Vic the night before, and he was talking about how much he enjoyed it. And I was like, well, it plays up to 6. Do you want to join us for our game tomorrow? And he was like, yeah, if you don't mind. So he came along with us. Mm-hmm. And that was, really, really good.
Really good.
After we did that, we stayed with Semi-Co-op for a little bit. And we went and played 2 of the games one we brought with us and one we purchased. So you're going to get a bit of a spoiler alert on one of the games that we bought. So we brought with us a game called Silver and Gold, which we're going to do a review on. So we'll link to that as well. but basically it's a flip and fill game. So you flip these cards and it reveals different Tetris-like shapes, and you have to draw that shape onto one of two little island cards. And as you fill in islands, you'll take new ones, and you try to gather treasure and collect bonuses, and they're all worth points. You try and get the most points.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good game. They really liked that. The second game that we played with them was called Second Chance, which I'm not positive, but I believe this was its release in the UK. I think it was out. I think it was out in Germany.
Was it? Okay.
It's the newest Uwe Rosenberg game.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's like a flip and fill game. They're both very similar.
Mm-hmm.
You reveal cards, and you basically got to draw on this big grid the shapes that come out. Eventually, you will run out of space and won't be able to draw what is revealed. So you get a second chance. You take the card from the top of the deck. If you can draw it, then you stay in the game. If you can't, then you're out. And then basically the game ends one of three ways. Either everyone is just out of the game, in which case the person with the most filled in spaces is the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody might just fill in the whole grid, in which case that person just wins.
Mm-hmm.
Or, did I say three ways? Two ways. One of those two ways. Yeah, so that's that game. It was, again, really, really good.
Yeah.
We picked it up there. I'm so glad we did. It sold out, I think, by the end of Friday. If not, like, really early into Saturday, that was gone. So I'm glad that we that was, I think, one of the first games we picked up.
Yeah.
Really, really cool.
Loved it. Played it a lot this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So after Second Chance, we went to This Game Is Broken podcast, which was so funny. It was hilarious.
It was really, really good. There's not really a lot we can say about it specifically. Yeah. It was just, if you've heard the podcast, it's like that, but it was live. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just really enjoyable. Really, really fun.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. Do you want to talk about then the next games we played, which I've just talked about?
I know. Then we just hung out with groups of people during some downtime. We played a little bit of Silver and Gold, Second Chance again. I think at this point we were over at the Hilton, just, Yeah,
we'd been to get some lunch.
Yeah, having some soda, some dinner, and just kind of playing some games then. And then we went to the No Pun Included live show, which again was very fun. Yeah,
Elaine had put on a show of Victorian parlor games, and it was with Semi-Co-op, with John Perkis, with Ross, and they basically had to do silly games on stage for our amusement, which was really fun.
It was really good.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was a highlight of the whole thing, I think. It was so fun.
Yeah.
The next thing we did was a game you'd actually noticed right before it closed. The hall closed on a Friday, and you were like, I want to go and check that out tomorrow. It's called Call to Mind, which is like a communication game for people. I believe it was made for people with dementia.
Yeah.
So it's not really a game, but basically you just spin this dial, whatever colour it comes up, you draw a card from that identical coloured deck, and it will basically just give you a prompt for communication. So you might draw from one, the title will be called Pets, and it will just say, tell me about a pet you've had. And it's just meant to spark a conversation or like gives people a way to like think about something that they've done in their life or in their past. It was a nice idea.
Yeah.
You were drawn to it just because initially we didn't see exactly what it was, and you thought might be a fun game to play like with your parents or with grandparents, for example.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that people are thinking about dementia and how you can use a game as a tool for recalling memories and encouraging communication. I think that's really cool. I'm not sure that to me it doesn't feel much like a game. It really is more like a conversation aid.
Not in this sense.
Yeah. But I do think, if there's any carers out there, people who work in care homes or work in care, I think it would be a fantastic thing to bring to work and use when you're trying to get to know the people who stay there. I think that's just fabulous that people have thought of that.
It sounds like they've had a lot of success with it as a tool as well, which is great. So after we did that, again, that was, I think, right at the end of the convention day for Saturday, pretty much. We were within the last hour or two. So we went and just relaxed a little bit, and then we went to the Gaming Rules podcast. We'd been invited to be special guests, so we went on stage just for a few minutes kind of just talk about what we've been doing at the convention, what we do, with the YouTube channel. We're friends with Paul. I think he enjoyed having us there. We liked being there.
Yeah.
A lot of other people that do similar things to us, and a lot of fans of his show were there. He was hosting it with Tom Heath from Slicker Drips. So we actually got to meet him for the first time. I've spoken with him a lot online and never actually met, so that was fun to do that. It was just a good time, just enjoyable. A nice thing.
It was good. And then we went and grouped back up with some friends and played Decrypto, which have we talked about Decrypto before?
At the Aircon video.
I think we have, yeah.
Done, yeah.
So another word game, trying to, give clues to help your teammates guess words and things, but you have to be careful about the clues that you're giving because you don't want the other team to connect
the dots and start to realize what that shared word is. It's just a good game. Really good word game. We like our word games, as you can probably tell. We started the day with one and ended the day with one. This was a lot slower of a day. Like Friday we got a lot of stuff out of the way, and I think that's because last year, if you saw our video on the Sunday, we talked about walking a lot and not really being able to get in and do much because it's so busy on the Saturday. You will walk by a booth that you're interested in, but there's people waiting already to play the game, and you're like, oh, I'll come back, I'll circle back, and then the next time you circle back, it's full, and you're like, do I wait potentially like a half an hour or 45 minutes here, or do I move on to the next thing I'm interested in? So this year we were like, we're hardly going to go into the hall at all, and when we do, it will be later on. So I think the only thing we actually did in the hall was Letter Jam at 9:30 in the morning, and we booked in to play that, and then Call to Mind, which I said was at the very end of the day, pretty much, because we just didn't want to contest with the overall amount of people that were going to be there.
It was very busy, so we used Saturday more as a day to go to the events that were happening and to hang out with people.
Yeah, because we didn't do any events last year, so that was nice to experience something new. So that was our Saturday. Like I said, I'll leave all the links down below to the games that we played, Board Game Geek pages where we can find them, or websites, things like that, and timestamps and stuff as well. So, thank you very much, and we'll see you for Sunday. Bye.
Different cards for each letter, so if you're, like, for instance, yours was Shark. I gave you Shark, so you had an SHART, T-K. She's sharked.
Maybe we start this one over.
No, we can keep going. So, you had Shark.